Welcome into another edition of Wildcat Weekly with Deuce Vaughn here on EMA Online. I'm Mason Voth, the managing editor of EMA Online, as we continue to talk to Deuce throughout the season, coming off of another big win against Oklahoma. You've been a part of two of the wins. Chris Kleiman has 3 in 4 years now, so a pretty efficient and hot start to his career against the Sooners. So I guess the first thing I should ask is, what is it about Oklahoma and the preparation for that game that has allowed you guys to be so successful over the last few seasons?
I feel like it's been just treating it as another game on the schedule. Uh, that's one of the biggest things that was talked about is that every single time that we play against this team, there's going to be a lot of things talked about. There's going to be a lot of things talked about. The last 3 meetings, we've won 2 out of the 3. We have OU's number. One of those things can be a lot of distractions that can be placed on us. One of those things was like, okay, we always play well against OU. So it's just going to happen again. We can't let that seep in. You have to go through, especially coming off of a tough loss against Tulane like that, to be able to bounce back, prepare the way that we did, to practice the way we did, and for everybody to hone in on everything we need to do and have the juice to go to Norman and play the way that we did. Man, it's exciting for this team, and I kind of feel like it's another stepping stone in this season that I feel like we needed.
It was a special night for you guys as a whole, but it seemed especially special. Not great terminology there by me, but especially special for your quarterback Adrian Martinez, who obviously dealt with a lot after the Tulane game and a lot of question marks there. And he answered the call pretty loudly on Saturday night. What was it like for him leading up to that game? And then what were you guys able to do as his teammates to just kind of help him settle into a maybe a more aggressive role and to have the kind of success he did?
100%. Well, I mean, first and foremost, it started in practice. There would be things that would happen throughout the practices. Something would go wrong, or a ball would be on the ground. He's asking for a bingo. Let's do that again. Let's do that again. Everybody can line back up, and he's taking control of the practice in a sense. And kind of it was one of those things where whenever he did that over and over again, it was one of those, oh, this guy's locked in. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's taking control of this offense, and he became a floor general at a sense throughout the week. And the way that he attacked his film, I mean, he's always been a film junkie. He's always been a football junkie, but he just it kind of came off. He was a leader even more this past week, and it was something that was really cool to see. And we kind of understood once we saw that fire in him, once we saw him doing those things throughout the week, that he's going to have a really good game this upcoming Saturday. And for him to go out there and perform like that with all the scrutiny, everything that everybody had been saying about him, not only this year but for the past 4 years at Nebraska as well, for him to come out there and perform like that, I feel like it's only going to be first and foremost a building block for him. But we celebrated with him every single time he hit the end zone. I was dead full on sprinting to him to get to him, and I feel like everybody was too. And if I could pull as many eyes as possible whenever he was pulling the ball and get as many guys to run with me to open up for him, I was doing that. I was going to go and get tackled in a sense to allow things to open up for him, and then. Man, he's a phenomenal player, and he showed that this past Saturday.
You mentioned everything that he went through the 4 years at Nebraska. Have you or maybe some of your teammates talked or thought about what it would have been like to be in his shoes? Because obviously, I think every college athlete, anybody that's been a part of a team ever, you go through moments where you're criticized, whether that's by coaches, people on the outside, people on the inside. But it seemed like it was at a totally different level for Adrian, who in my opinion, from my view, was the scapegoat for a lot of other things that happened up there. Have you ever considered what it was like for him, or has he discussed that with you guys about what that situation ended up being like for him?
He's discussed some situations that went on up at Nebraska, but never really. He's never been a guy that was like poor me," or pointed at things that happened to him. He's always been somebody that's looking forward, and that's one of the things that I appreciate about him and I love about him. But I've always kind of, whenever he got here, always wondered. I mean, just the 4 years of just going on any social media site and seeing things said about you in a bad way. You're the reason we're not winning. You're the reason we're not doing this. You're the reason we're not successful. I couldn't even imagine. And for him to bounce back this past weekend and do that, and I'll say it right now, he's gonna have an unbelievable rest of the season as well. Man, we've seen it throughout practice this entire week as well. He's not slowing down. It's one of the things that's really exciting, and as long as we're out there and we have the juice that we had this past Saturday, I feel like we're a really hard team to beat. And with him at the helm, we're a super hard team to beat.
There were a lot of big plays on Saturday night. Is there one that sticks out more than another one to you that, and it may not even be something you were involved in. Maybe it was something that one of the other guys did, but what's the play that you're going to take with you from that game against OU?
I got two plays because and they both weren't pertain to me at all actually, but it was two plays where I was like my eyes got big. The first one was whenever Malik hit the safety as he was going to intercept the football. It was one of those things where I saw the ball go, and I was looking through the O line, so I couldn't see Leak, but I saw the defender start to put his hands up, and it was crazy. I see Leak pop up out of nowhere and absolutely rock the safety. It was one of those things where I was like, and it gave us another opportunity with the football. So I was like, and then I kind of looked and I was like what just happened? Like one of those things. And then I would look at the replay, and I mean, he absolutely leveled that cat. And then of course a 3rd and 16. They motioned me out wide, and I ran a 16 route, and the corner related to me, and I just saw him take off. I saw him take off, and it was one of those things where you kind of like your head goes. And as he just kind of kept going down the field I was like, he's gonna break it. He's gonna break, and then I just take off. I take off after him, and he just keeps running. He keeps running. I'm just running from across the other side of the field, and man, I just got a smile on my face. I'm screaming, "Go Adrian! Go Adrian!" As soon as he got down to the 10, I'm like, "Get down! Get down! Get down!" And then as soon as he did, man, I mean, it was an overwhelming feeling of joy, of just like that was the stamp on the football game, and it was big time for him. It was big time.
One of the things that I recognized watching the game there Saturday night was it seemed like each tackle that OU gave you, there was a little bit something extra on it. It looked almost more WWE like than just college football. There was a lot of just like picking up and throwing around. Did it feel like there was a little extra on some of the hits from Oklahoma than maybe what you've experienced in the past?
Honestly, I mean, it's flying bullets all the time. It's so bang bang. I never really feel any hits whenever I'm going and playing, so I can never tell. It's always been like that. I never tell if it's a big hit or anything like that until after the game, or somebody, man, you took a shot on that one. I'm like, "Ah." Like, it's always been like that though. So whenever people ask me like, hey, like, did you feel like it was a little bit more personal, or there were some harder hits out there? I mean, I couldn't tell you, honestly.
With a big win, there's obviously a big party afterwards, and in the room we waited for you guys to come out to do interviews afterwards. You could hear the celebration in the locker room. So, who had the best celebration after the game, whether it be a coach or a player?
Uh, I got to go with BA. So Coach Anderson, ever since Antonio Brown came out with his dance, the little put it on dance, he got the entire team doing that after the win, and it was really cool. And then Felix has his Steph Curry dance that he does, where he kind of goes down, and so we were doing that too. And then Coach Kleiman, he does the jump around with us, stop, look around, jump around one more time. So those are, I mean, anytime that we can get in there and do that celebrate, I mean, all the work that we put in throughout the week, and to be able to celebrate like that, it's big time, man. It's fun.
Is there a coach on the team that has like just a terrible celebration? Like it just maybe just hangs off in the corner and like you see him give like a little fist pump every once in a while?
You know, I've never seen Coach Klanderman. I've never seen Coach Klanderman inside the circle. I can definitely see him. You know, he's long, he's tall, being in the back, one of those, giving me one of those right there. I can definitely see him doing that.
All right, well, that might be the goal. Whenever you guys have another big win, whatever it is, and maybe you need to find a way to get Coach Clanderman into the circle and see what moves he got.
100%. We'll have to do that.
Kind of thinking about everything else and tying a bow on the game in Norman. What did you think of the overall experience for a night game in Norman? 2020, you were there. It was 11 a.m. It was a COVID crowd, and then 84,000 people there. Night game. The lights are flickering on and off throughout the entirety. What was that experience like for you as a player?
I talked to a whole bunch of guys on it. That was probably one of the craziest atmospheres that I've played in, just from the mere fact that it was a night game and we were away. So, I mean, it literally felt like 84,000 against the 100 people on that sideline, and maybe the hundreds of people that traveled to the game. It felt like almost the entire game. And the light show and everything like that. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the light show was pretty cool. Sometimes it can get a little obnoxious, like the before the third down, whenever we're standing on the field and the lights are flickering on and off and they're playing music. Uh, but it was one of those things where it kind of locked us in at the point. It was like, oh, they're gonna play this right now. Like, okay, bet. Like one of those things. But the atmosphere, it was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. And to be able to go out there and make plays. And that's one of the things that Coach Anderson told us throughout the week. He was like, you want to make the crowd silent, go make plays. And that's one of the things we got to do. And we made plays. And whenever it was time to make big time plays, the defense did it. And we did it. And when it was time to go out there and make, game altering plays, we did it. And that's one of the things I feel like we can carry over into this next weekend.
All right. So if Gene Taylor listens to this, he needs to start fundraising for some LED lights inside the stadium so they can flicker on and off.
I wouldn't mind it. I feel like we got to be a little bit more subtle with them, but I wouldn't mind it at all. I'd love it.
Yeah, I thought at times it was cool. There were other moments though where I said to one of the guys next to me, I said, it kind of feels like we're at an NBA game with the
Right.
lights, the music. They would play it like right up until the ball was snapped. Like it was kind of an odd dynamic, but I mean everybody was into it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thinking about Texas Tech now, they're a team that's played you guys pretty tight the last 2 seasons, both of the years that you've been in Manhattan. What about Texas Tech have made those games so close and physical, and why is it that you guys just play each other so tight?
I feel like we kind of have the same core values, same culture in a sense. A lot of Texas Tech guys aren't highly recruited, aren't the guys that were going to be going to an Alabama or a Texas or an Oklahoma and things like that. So they have that chip on their shoulder. They play hard. They have the athletes that can run around. They have the athletes on offense and defense that can run around, and guys that are scrappy. I feel like we embody a lot of the same things as far as football teams goes. Why we've always played each other pretty hard. And man, they got up 14-0 on us before we even knew it this past year, and we were able to battle back and win that game. And then the year before that, man, it came down to the wire. So it just kind of tells you exactly the type of team they have. And it's super exciting. It's always a fun team to play because you know exactly what you're going to get from them. A whole bunch of dudes are going to play hard for 4 quarters, and you understand that you have to be on your P's and Q's all game.
Now, thinking about the game this weekend, it's an 11 a.m. kickoff, so total contrasting style to the 7 o'clock kick that you ended up having against Oklahoma. Is there a certain like time window that you prefer to kick off at, whether it's 11 or that mid-afternoon game or the late game? Which is your favorite to be a part of?
I'll probably say a 2 o'clock game is nice just because you don't have to wake up super early, but you get into the game action pretty quickly. An 11 o'clock game is nice. I'll probably say a night game. I can sit in the hotel all night and then play at night. Because I like the atmosphere at night. I like night games. I like how they feel. An 11 a.m. game. I'm not a huge morning person, so waking up at 6, but you get right into the game, so that's good. That's always good. Before you know it, you wake up and it's time to go. I do like that, but I have to go. I have to go with the night game just for the atmosphere.
Next week, I'll come prepared and I'll break down your stats based off of what time of day you're playing at. And we'll have to take a look to see which ones you perform better in, because you have shown up in a lot of night games. I think the numbers would probably back that up.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Another 11 a.m. kickoff question. So 11 a.m. game, you guys finish, you get a win. What does the rest of the weekend look like for you then? That Saturday night and afternoon into Sunday?
So usually get home. My parents will be up. If it's a home game, my parents will be up. So I'll go home, take a nap, assess whatever's hurting, whatever's hurting at that time. Assess that. Take a nap. Probably wake up 2-3 hours later. Get all my energy back. Go and eat with my family, and then whatever me and the boys got going on that night. We'll get together, and then in the morning go grab breakfast. Usually me and my roommates go with my parents. We go to Rockin' K's, actually. We've done it every single home game. We wake up early on Sunday and go to Rockin' K's and then get treatment. And then after that, you just pretty much watching Sunday ball and watch some film on the next opponent. That's pretty much all Sunday entails.
Who's your go-to to watch in the NFL? Who's the team that's on Sunday that you got to make sure you see?
I'm a Cowboys fan, so they're
All right.
all
Well, so am I. So I always make sure I catch the Cowboys.
100%. I always catch the Cowboys, but if I got NFL Sunday ticket, so I always watch the Lions. DeAndre Swift. I love watching DeAndre Swift play. Always watch the Vikings. Justin Jefferson. Always watch the Giants. Saquon Barkley. It's just kind of always watch the 49ers. Debo Samuel. It's just kind of those games where whenever I can't watch the Eagles. Can't stand the Eagles. I couldn't. Jalen Hurts is a really good football player, but I can't stand the Eagles. I can't watch the Eagles. Miami. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are fun to watch. Very fun to watch. And yeah, just games like that. I love to watch Aaron Rodgers throw the football, so I'll always tune into a Green Bay game, even though his supporting cast isn't really giving him a whole bunch of help right now. But yeah, it's just things like that. I try to tune into the players that I like to watch.
Do you and any of your teammates play like fantasy football with each other?
I do not. Now, a lot of guys on the team do. I can't play fantasy because then I start getting too attached, and I'm not watching the games to be watching them. I'm watching them. I'm like, okay, I need Aaron Rodgers to throw an interception right here.
Yeah.
Instead of watching the game for what it is, and I need Derrick Henry to get stuffed right here on this 3rd and 1 so he can get off the field. And I get way too consumed in it, so I'm taking a break for a little bit.
Okay. Well, I think that's probably fair. Last one for you tonight, since we've already kind of gone a little bit longer than we normally do. But I just thought of this, thinking about over your 3 years now that you've been in Manhattan. I'm a big not even necessarily uniforms, but I pay attention to detail when it comes to what is being worn and some of the gear that's given out. What is your favorite piece of Nike gear that they have given you in your 3 years at K-State now? Is there a specific one that you think of and say, that was pretty sweet, and that's one that I'm always going to like to wear?
100%. It's actually just like this one, except it has a hoodie. It has like a hood, so it's like a little mesh. It's kind of like cold gear in a sense, but it's like a little mesh and it has a hoodie on it. Same little prize fighter patch. That's probably my favorite. If I can get like a little pullover with a hoodie on it, that's my go-to. That's my favorite right there. So that's got to be. And I'm an all black type of guy, so I like dark colors. I like to keep it simple. So whenever it's black and it has a nice little K-State logo on it, I'm happy with it.
So you're excited for like the next couple of weeks when we start to get to like
Cold gear
low
and
70s, mid 60s. So that's going to be prime time for wearing stuff like that.
sir, it's about to be that time. I love fall. Fall is probably my favorite season.
All right. Well, I think that's a good way to end it because I think a lot of people will probably agree with you on that take. And it was great to get to catch up with you after the Oklahoma win. And I guess a few days away from game day. So we'll wish you the best of luck against Texas Tech on Saturday.
Appreciate you having me tonight.